So we're gonna talk about central angles today, and central angles are pretty simple. Make sure that you know the definition of central angles and why they are central angles. So central angles, their vertex is on the center of the circle. This actually, make sure I'm recording. This I skipped like 2 sections. So the first section was like naming circles and stuff like that, which is not super important. You probably learned that in geometry. And then area and circumference. So you should know how to find the area of a circle from way back when. We'll review it when we're doing our exam review. So don't stress out that you're not going to get it, but I'm not spending a whole day on area and circumference. And circumference, you know, is just the outside of the circle, or changing the radius to a diameter and a diameter to a radius. So we know all those, but again, we'll go over all of those either while we're doing this or while we're doing our exam review. This will be the last unit that we do before our exam review. Remember that you do have to come in for your exam. It is a state exam. It does matter. It is part of your final average, okay? So make sure that you guys are doing well. And if you have any questions, make sure that you're asking those. All right, so if we look at this, it says find the measure of the arc or central angle indicated. So the next thing I need to tell you is a central angle is the same as the arc. And that is arc measure. We will do arc measure and arc length. Measure is degrees, length is like inches, feet, whatever. Okay. So you don't have to highlight any of this. You can make it a little bit darker if you want to, but I'm going to highlight it for you. So there's a question mark there. This is the angle that we're looking for, and the way that we'll find it is we'll use the arc. So we're looking at kind of like a pizza slice or a piece of pie or whatever. Thanksgiving still got me thinking about pie, I guess. I don't know. But when you look at this, whatever your arc measure is, so this one is 75, that is what your angle is too. So your answer would be 75 degrees. It literally is that simple. Central angles are super simple. All right, so these are really easy because they give you the arc that goes along with it. The only way it gets any harder is they don't give you the arc, but they give you a way to be able to find it. So don't stress too much, it's not too bad. So if we look at number 2, we're looking at this angle. So we want the arc or the pie crust on the outside. They are the same. So it is 90 degrees. Is everybody good with those two? Look at number 3. We want this angle. So we're looking for this arc. It gives us to it. Gives us it. So what is the angle? What's the measure? 100 degrees. That's it. On number 4, also the same way. Here's our angle and our arc. So what's our degree on this one? 65. And then number 5 is exactly the same. And then we go to something different. Here's your angle, here's your arc. So what's the degree of the angle? 30. Any questions on those 5? Those are the easiest ones that you get, okay? They do get a little bit harder, but it's not bad, all right? So look at the next one. This you may forget from geometry, so I want to make sure that you understand what angle you're looking for, because they don't give you a question mark this time. They give you some letters. V, Q, S. Follow it around, like connect the dot. V to Q to S. So when I find that angle, I'm looking for this arc. How can I find the total amount of that arc?
Add.
Don't make it too complicated. Just add them up. Yep. So I'm just going to add the 2 arcs, 62 plus 50. And I'm going to get, what's my degree?
112.
That's it. Everybody good? If I made a mistake, let me know, okay? Y'all keep yelling at me. I'm doing this on the fly. No No notes beside me, so I'm doing it right with you. All right, follow it again. K, F, H. So K to F to H, and the arc between the two. So we're looking for that arc. How do we find that arc? 49 plus 80. What is 49 plus 80? 129. Same thing on the next one. F to D to H. And we're finding the full arc. How do we do that? 69 plus 51 gives us 120. Same thing on the next one. A, F, E, follow it around, but this one's a little bit different because we don't have the arc. Okay, we don't have the arc, but we do. So you got to go back to, let me grab a different highlighter. You got to go back to math 2 a little bit right here. And you got to think about your angles that you were taught. Okay, so you had different angles. You had corresponding angles. You had, trying to think of all of them. You had a linear pair. You guys remember doing all those? You remember seeing something like this? Parallel lines cut by transversal. All right, so you saw something like this. This might have been 60 degrees. And this one would have been, let's see, 60, 80, 120. I probably put them in the wrong spot. It doesn't matter. So for the purposes, something like this. So then you remember that these two angles were the same, right? Do you remember what those two angles were called? Do you guys remember seeing that? Yes, you remember seeing that. Okay, so these are called vertical angles, and any angles that make an X. So you guys see these two diameters in the circle making that X. That means that this angle and this angle are the same. Okay, this angle and this angle are the same. So that means I can find this side right here, and it's going to match this side over here. Does that make sense? So how do we find this angle or this arc? What is 66 plus 49? Say it aloud. 115. So that means that this side is also 115. Got it? So remember those X, those are called vertical angles. You'll see those a lot within this section, so make sure you remember what they are, okay? All right, look at your next one. We're doing ECH. So E to C to H and in between. How do we get that? 45 plus 50 plus 65. You have to tell me what you get. Loud. Thank you. You say it. Say it like I have to really listen hard. 160 degrees. Is everybody good? Any questions on those? So watch the one like this. We'll probably have more of those. All right. Number 11, solve for X. Assume that lines which appear to be diameters are actual diameters. So if you feel like it goes straight through, then it probably does. All right. All right. So we need to find X. Here's the next thing that I want to tell you. You know already that a full circle is what? How many degrees? 360. Okay, so don't forget that, 360 degrees. So here's what we're going to do. X plus 40, and you don't have to write this out every time, plus 59, plus 40, plus 110, plus 121 is going to give you the 360. So we're going to add that full circle up. All right. So I'm going to add these up. 40 plus 59 plus 40 plus 110 plus 121 gives us 370. So x plus 370 equals the full 360. And don't freak out because you have a lower number. It's okay. Don't stress out. How do we solve this? And we get x equals negative 10. Again, don't freak out because you get a negative number, because when I plug it back in, what is negative 10 plus 40? 30. So I still get a positive measure. Does everybody understand? The only way you'd freak out is if you got a negative measure. So if that was x was one of those arcs by itself, then I would worry that I did something wrong. So that's it. Again, same thing. How much is a full circle? 360. So I'm going to add them all up. And again, I don't expect you to show this all in your homework. I'm going to start here, negative 2 plus 11x. I'm going to go counterclockwise, plus 70, plus 70, plus 80, plus 65 equals 360. Again, I'm just writing it all out to show you in your notes. That's all. We're going to add it all up. Leave out the 11x. So negative 2 plus 70 plus 70 plus 80 plus 65. I get 11x plus 283 equals 360. How do I solve? So 360 minus 283 gives me 11x equals 77. How do I finish? And x equals 7. Okay. Any questions? All right, so think back to previous problems. What do you see on 13? There are multiple ways to do this problem, so whoever answers first is the one I'm going to go with, but I'll show you other ways too. It's all the same. Okay, so what she said was this arc right here is going to be 65 plus 64 because we have the x's, right? You're doing it the hardest way. But will you get the answer? Yes, you will. She said this angle is the same as the one on top, and then I can add them and set them equal to 360, right? All right, so that's one way to do it. Add them all up, set them equal to 360. Or what is this thing right here? What is that? What do you think it is? Zoomers, you can answer too.
180.
What is this?
Diameter.
Y'all don't know what that line is in the middle of the circle? Stretches all the way across. It's a diameter, right? What's a diameter do to the circle? What's a diameter do to a circle? It's not a complicated question. It's not crazy. What's it do to, look at it. What's it do to it? Splits it in half, right? What's half a circle? If a full circle is 360, what's half a circle? This is the easiest way for me to do it because I don't want to add all those up, okay? So I take this half circle, which equals 180. I don't care which way you do it. I'm just showing you both ways. So whoever sees it this way can do it this way. So that's exactly how I would do it. I would take x plus 56 plus 65 plus 64 and set it equal to half the circle. Can you do it the other way? Yes, you can. You do it however you see fit. All I'm looking at is what did you get for x, okay? So I'm just giving you another visual of what you can do. So when we add this up and work it this way, 56, sorry y'all, plus 65 plus 64 is 185 equals 180. Solve it by subtracting your 185. And you get x equals -5. If I do it the other way, like you guys said, I'll just show you. I'm going to write it up here. X plus 56 plus 65 plus 64 plus x plus 56 plus 65 plus 64. So do it twice. Gives us 360. We're going to add it up. We get 2x plus 370 equals 360. We subtract our 370. We get 2x equals -10. Divide by 2. And x equals -5. Did we get the same answer? So you do it, I don't care. Whatever you see is how I want you to do it. That's a good thing with geometry. Like, I don't care, don't know who you have for your geometry units. That would be your math too. But sometimes teachers get real stuck on one way of teaching it and one way of doing it. And I don't care as long as you come up with this. So any way that you see it is perfectly fine with me. Y'all got it? Okay, so I don't care. All right, look at your next one, number 14. I don't have the X in this one. I don't have a diameter in this one, so I do have to do the full 360 for this. So we're going to add it all up. And to not waste your time, I'm going to add my X's first. And then on my calculator, I'm going to add the other numbers. So 90 plus 39 plus 33 plus 75 plus 30 gives us 267. That equals 360. That is what I would do on my paper. I would not write all of everything out that I'm adding together. I just did that for you guys to see later on. Subtract your 267. And you get x equals 93.
You left out the 130 on the circle.
Any questions? Everybody okay? All right. What do I do on this one? Do you see anything important in this circle?
Diameter.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you anytime that you see a diameter, it's probably going to be important. Okay. They don't normally put them in there unless you're going to use them. And this will come in handy later on in some of our next units. So in this one, and I'm going to show you both of them just because I can, I have two diameters. One of them is more important than the other, but they both can be used. Okay. How can I use it? Which one can I use and how am I going to use it?
The 1526X.
I need y'all to talk to me. Say it again. Pink or yellow? Pink. What can I do with the pink one? Why is it important? Perfect. 26x plus 50 is half of the circle because that diameter cuts it in half. So if you guys look at it this way, you know it's going to equal 180. Okay. I'm going to subtract my 50. I get 26x equals 130. And then I'm going to divide by 26. And I get x equals 5. If you're adamant about filling it in, which I kind of sometimes suggest that you do on this one, I don't. Eventually you will need to. We can look at the yellow diameter. And there's half your circle. And how much is half your circle? 180. So 180, I already used 45 and 50. So what's left? 85, right? Here's an X. So this has to be 50 because it matches that one. So if you're one that wants to fill everything in, that's why they give you two diameters, is so that you can fill in this 85. That's all it is. Okay. So then you would add all those up, set them equal to 360. Whatever you see is perfectly fine. All right. Find the measure of the arc or central angle indicated. Assume that lines which appear to be diameters are actual diameters. Okay. So I want you to find the measure of the arc or central angle. So it says PUT, follow it around, PUT. So first I have to find X, then I have to plug in. So it's the same thing that we were just doing. You just do one more step by plugging it in. All right, so how would I do this one? How do I find X? Come on, guys. Add it up to 360. I have every single measure on the outside. I'm going to add them up to 360. So I would do 10x plus 150 plus 12x minus 5 plus 55 plus 10x would give us 360. Now, if I'm doing it instead of having to write all that out, the first thing I'm going to do is add all my x's up, which you're going to do that anyway. 10 plus 10 plus 12 gives you 32 x's. And then you're going to add your numbers. 150 minus 5 plus 55 gives us 150. And we're going to set that equal to 360. So all I did was add like terms. That's all I did. Subtract your 150. So 360 minus 150 is 210. And then divide by 32. Ooh, did I screw something up? What did I screw up? Oh, because I did plus 5 instead of plus 55. I just didn't hit it hard enough. Thank you. Yeah, anytime I screw it up. All right. And then 160, that should be better. Divided by 32. Thank you. Gives me 5. But I'm not finished. What did it ask me to do? Find that measure. So in the last section, we were finding x, and that's fine. Make sure you read directions. This time it wants this PUT angle. So angle PUT is 10x or 10 times 5, which is 50 degrees. Now, you don't have to show all that work. I'm just doing it in my notes for you, okay? Again, you don't have to show all this add and subtract. You can start here, solve it down, and then you can just put your angle in, and that's fine. All right, same thing. We want FAB on the next one. So we're looking for 20x. What do they give you in this? They give you some diameters, right? Which diameter is going to be important in this one? Guys, since I don't have any measures over here, I wouldn't worry about that side of the circle. And you guys will see that there is a diameter right here, which means that those two added are 180. Okay. So always look for that. They give you a diameter. There's a reason they're giving it to you. So this time we're going to do 20x plus 12 plus 4x equals half the circle, which is 180. Add them up. We get 24x plus 12 equals 180. We're going to subtract 12. And we get 24x equals 168. We're going to divide by 24. We get x equals 7, but it doesn't want 7. What does it want? Angle FAB, which is 20 times 7, or 140 degrees. All right, 3 more. 3 more and we're done. All right, again, what do you see on 18? What did I give you on 18? You guys see the diameters? You're going to use them. Just depends on how. It's either going to split it in half. It's either going to make the X angles, the vertical angles. Since we don't have angles here or here, what do we know about these two? What do we know about these two? They're the same. So you're going to set them up as the same. 121 is the same as x plus 73 plus x plus 64. So this is the first one that we've not had equal to 360 or 180. They're actually equal to each other. All right. We have 121 equals 2x plus 137. We're going to subtract 137. And we get negative 16 equals 2x. Divide by 2. And x equals negative 8, but that's not our answer. It wanted T, Q, U. That's this one. So we have to do x plus 64. So angle TQU equals x plus 64, which is negative 8 plus 64, which is 56. All right. The next one, you see the whole circle's filled out, right? Yes, you guys see the whole circle's filled out. So we're going to do this one to 360. Okay, that's your key. But we want F, E, G. So in the end, we just want that one. So we're going to add them up. How many X's do I have on the full circle? Here's your X's. How many do I have? Negative 13 X's. And then I have 15 down here minus 3 plus 50 plus 110 plus 45 gives me, I got 217. Are y'all okay with that? I didn't type anything weird. Yes? Okay. Then we have to solve it. So 360 minus 217 is 143. So negative 13x equals 143. Divide by negative 13. And x equals negative 11. But we didn't want x. We wanted angle FEG, which was negative 5x plus 15. So negative 5 times negative 11 plus 15 equals 55 plus 15, which is 70. Really okay? One more. One more. What do you think is going to happen on this one? Is it going to be cut in half? We're going to set it equal to 360. We're going to use vertical angles. What are we going to do? Guys, come on. Zoomers, I hadn't heard y'all all day.
Set it equal to 360
Why are we going to set it equal to 360?
because you don't have any diameters.
We don't have any diameters, and we have every measure on the outside. So we're going to set it equal to 360. So the one that we want in the end is right there. So let's go ahead and set this up. How many total X's do you have? I have 6 plus 4 plus 20. 30 X's. I have 15 minus 2 plus 54 plus 53. So 15 minus 2 plus 54 plus 53. What do we get? 120. And it's the full circle 360. Subtract 120. I get 30x equals 240. Divide by 30. I get x equals 8, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted angle LHM, which is 4x minus 2. So 4 times 8 minus 2. 8 times 4 is 32. Minus 2 is 30. All right, so you have to have lots of practice with this. This is not always super easy. So you have a homework and a quiz this week. You'll drop your homework into the Dropbox. You'll take your quiz, it's multiple choice, and type in your answers, okay? You have those in your packet. So if you look, your homework is also multiple choice. Don't freak out. It's just so I can make sure that you're understanding it. You do need to show work. If I don't see any work on this homework and you've just circled A, B, C, or D, I'm not giving you credit for it. Are we clear? How many of the problems? No, granted. The very first problems, did I do any work on? No, so I get those. Those you're not gonna have any work on, and that's fine. When we got up to number 11, was there any problem I did not do work on? So I know the difference in the ones you can do work and the ones you cannot. So make sure that you show your work on that homework. On the quiz, I don't think you have to turn anything in but the ABCD answers. Okay? Is everybody good with that? All right, again, you have your homework and then you have your quiz. Zoomers, if y'all don't have any questions, I'm gonna stop sharing, stop recording, and you are good to go.